Happy Friday, everybody. It's a Friday. I'm getting ready to get a lift in here today. Finished trading the morning. Now I'm off to do other things. I don't sit in front of the computer the entire day. Majority of the time I'm done by 11:30. I'm out and I have other things that I want to do. One of them being getting some exercise in. And I guess that's what I'm going to talk about today is, man, when I was a high school principal, I was constantly training for a marathon, constantly lifting, was trying to improve my marathon time. The most miles I ever ran at one time was 42 around a track for a fundraiser at my school. And I always wanted to run an official ultra marathon. I actually did run 28 miles at a race called Run the Loop in Downingtown, PA. They don't run that race anymore. But I never done like an official 50 miler or an ultra, and it is on my bucket list. And probably in the last few months, I was like, you know what? I ran a marathon in April, and it sucked. It was so slow. It was terrible. It was the worst one I've ever done. I think I've run like 15 at this point. And it was like, all right, something's got to change here. And I don't want to hear all excuses. Oh, you're getting older. Your body's... I'm not accepting that. I don't care. I'll fight it. It might be true, but I'm not. No way. So, yeah, I'm forcing myself to get back after it, lifting, running. Instead of talking about it, I need to actually do it. So I've been pretty consistent, and so that's why I'm getting my lift in here. And the same thing applies to trading. You got to be consistent with it. Whenever you start getting lax, or you're just like, oh, I'm good, I'm just gonna hop on and trade, and you're not doing your study, then you're not going to be as effective of a trader that you could be. You definitely have to put that time into the study, the practice, the looking at charts, reading news, knowing what's happening with the economy, with markets, with interest rates, all those things. That's important. And it's no different than anything else that you're pursuing in your life. For me, the crazy thing is going from all the structure of working a job as a principal, right? You operate on a bell schedule, essentially. My day would start at 7:15, so I'd have to be there really early. And you would have a set of procedures, things that you did. And typically I was there until 5 p.m. every day. And other days when I had events, I was there later. So I had to be highly structured and routine in terms of how I fit things in. And when I started learning trading, whenever I was a principal, I had to get up super early to do that before everyone else is up, because the little time that I had when I was at home, I couldn't justify giving that time to trading when my kids were there and I didn't see them all day. So I had to get up early. I had to put it in and put in the time. And then whenever they went to sleep, then I had to put in more work then. We got to take that same type of preparation approach to trading as we would anything else that we're working to improve at. That is important. But anyway, the market's today down a little bit because of tariffs. Oh my gosh, we're putting a 35% tariff on Canada and 10 and 15% blanket tariffs on countries. And yeah, okay, we've heard this all before. Sure, whatever. The market's just shrugging it off. And I feel like market makers and dealers have almost become immune to it. And they're not really paying it much attention. And we have to see what that next thing is going to be that's going to cause legitimate fear in the markets, where people are afraid and they're panicking and they're scared. Who knows what that might be, but eventually it'll surface. But I think tariffs are not as scary as they were back on Liberation Day. And the markets were down at open. They've come off their lows. We'll see how that ends. And really next week, what we're going to get is the CPI and PPI report. So these are the reports where we should see an uptick in inflation from tariffs. So if we're going to get some volatility, next week would be the time to see it. But as resilient as these bulls have been, man, I don't know. Just when you start thinking that the bulls are too strong and they're just going to keep this thing held up, that's typically when people are getting complacent, and that is when you get punched in the face and when the market drops. So that's why you always have to be vigilant and have your head on a swivel when it comes to the markets, because you never know. It's like yesterday. Bitcoin was running after hours up to 117K. I think it touched 118K. And everybody's, oh, futures are going to rip tomorrow. Everything's going to rip. And then Trump came out with that tariff talk. And then we saw subsequent drops. You can never anticipate what's going to be said, especially with this administration, with the tweets and things. You can't predict that. You can't chart that. So you just have to factor that into your trading plan. That can always be something that could derail a bullish position. And that's why you have to have a plan to execute in the event that things aren't going up, right? Whether those are shorts, puts, or hedging your longs. But you always have to be on guard. All right, it's been great talking to y'all. I'm about to go get my lift on, and I will see you back here next time. Make it a great day.